All right, working on Chapter 4, Exercise 5 from Zach's Programming with Microsoft Visual Basic. Lorenzo's is having a BoGoHo buy one, get one half off sale. The store manager wants an application that allows the sales clerk to enter the price of 2 items. The half off should always be applied to the item that has the lowest price. Applications should calculate and display the total amount the customer owes as well as the amount the customer saved. And there's some examples. So create a Windows Form application, name it Lorenzo, and then change the main form here. I already created my application. Name this Main Form. This is going to be named frmMain. And we're going to do some work to this. Set maximize to false. Start position. Change the font. And what are we going to call this thing? We're going to call it Lorenzo's. Let's just do this form. It's going to be called Lorenzo's BoGoHo sale. All right. And then let's make sure that our project is opening with the right form. And I think we should be good to work with that. So while that's loading up, I'm going to take the project and move it off to the side. There it is. Looks good. All right. So it should take the price of 2 items. So I'm actually going to add some labels first. I'm going to add a label and what do we have? This all open? I don't want all. I just want, holy cow, let me get rid of these. Okay. And a text box. So this one is going to be LBL item 1. And we're going to call this item 1. And this is going to be TXT item 1. And I think I'm going to make this application so I'm going to copy paste and make it go this way. A little bit different this time. This is LBL item 2. Item 2. TXT item 2. Right? TXT item 1, TXT, oops. Not item. How do they do that? Okay. Item 1 and 2. And then, excuse me, the application should calculate and display the total amount the customer owes. So I want a label. I'm going to make this say, I don't care what the label of that is. I'm going to say customer owes. Copy, and then take this, copy paste, because then we also have customer saved. And give me a label right below that for instead of customer owes. This one is going to be the output. So LBL customer owes output. And this I'm going to set auto size to false. The back color is going to be info. And the border style is going to be fixed single. And then the text of that is going to be empty. Okay, this is going to be our first output, and then our second output is right here for what the customer saved. So I'm going to call this LBL customer saved output. And these are a little short, right? So I'm going to I took these 2 text boxes, and I'm going to vertically align them to my other text boxes. And then I'm going to grab the bottom handle and then horizontally align them with the bottom of those boxes. So they're all the same height now. All right. And heck, we can even make them all, oops, not that too. Make them all the same width. right? So we'll make it about that wide. That looks good. I'm going to set the horizontal spacing to be the same. And then I want these, well, these should all be lined up on the baseline. So there we go. And then this needs to be lined up with the text box. And these labels need to be lined up. Okay, it looks good. So the user's going to enter item 1, enter item 2, and then I want them to, I think I'm going to need a button. BTN, and we've been using calculate, right? And I need another button for exit. And make these the same height. Might as well make them the same width, why not? And let's just get these lined up somewhere. Looks pretty good. Select everything. Kind of shove it up into the corner like that. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Why not? Give me another label here. And I'm going to make this just say Lorenzo's BoGoHo sale. Okay, and let's play with the font on this one. There we go. Lucinda handwriting. Why not? 24. Maybe a little bigger. 36. Great. Put that like in the middle of the page. Okay. Now we have an application. Let's run this. All right, so I think that's a pretty good layout for what we want. I guess I'll go back to the assignment here. Oh, it just says just code the application. So we need to make this work. Of course, I want to set my accept button to calculate, my cancel button to exit. We'll code the exit button, and we'll code the calculate button. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to get the two prices from the user's input, determine which is the smaller of the two, mark the smaller one as 50% off, add the two prices together, display the final price. But remember, we also need, get rid of this. We also need to show how much the customer saved. So in order to do that, add the two original prices together to get the pre-sale price. And then we can subtract the final price from the pre-sale price to determine the ETER, amount saved. Okay, so notice how pseudocoding allowed me to get down here and go, oh wait, I forgot to add something up here. I was able to do that without changing any code, because all I'm doing is just thinking in my head, how would I create this application? All right, so get the two prices from the user input. I'm going to say, or I guess even before I get the pricing, right, I need to create variables to store item 1 and 2 price. So dim dec item 1 price as decimal, dim dec item 2 price as decimal. And then I'm going to get these prices from the user's input. So decimal dot typarse. I'm going to take txt item 1 dot text and try to put it in dec item 1 price. And then I need to do that again. So I'm going to hit Control D to duplicate that line. D as in duplicate. and then change the ones to twos. So I'm trying to get the user's input and putting it into these values. Okay, add the original prices together to get the pre-sale price. So I'm going to say dim dec pre-sale price as decimal is equal to dec item 1 price plus dec item 2 price. Determine which is the smaller of the two. Mark it as 50% off, add the two prices together. These three things are going to happen at the same time. I can say if dec item 1 price is less than dec item 2 price, then if item 1 is less than item 2, then item 1 is at 50% off. So maybe we need a variable here to store the final price. So then dec final price is equal to dec item 1 price times 50%, or divided by 2, whatever, and times 50%, plus dec item 2 price. Remember that when dealing with decimals, when you have literal values in your code, you have to put the D after it. If these were doubles, we wouldn't worry about it. But because we're dealing with money, I want to use decimals. And then otherwise, dec final price is equal to, and it's really the same equation with the values flipped. So it's item 2 is at 50% off, item 1 is full price. Now, what if they're the same price? Well, let's say they're both 10. Is 10 less than 10? No. So the final price is going to be 10 times 50%, which is 5 plus 10, 15. It doesn't really matter if they're the same. Okay? So we don't even have to worry about that case. Either 1 is less than 2 or everything else, right? They're equal or 2 is less than 1. That's what's happening here. Item prices are equal or 2 is less than 1. Item 2 is less than item 1. Okay? That's what's happening there. And then display the final price. So LBL customer O's output dot text is equal to dec final price to string as currency. And then determine the amount saved. So we could take this and put it in a variable and then put the variable into LBL customer saved, or we can just do it all together, I think. I think to do it together, we would have to use this format currency function, which we haven't worked with yet, but it works just like passing C through toString. So I could take dec presale price minus dec final price. I think. I don't know. Let's try it out. If item 1 is $12 and item 2 is $6, customer owes 15. Does that make sense? Well, item 2 is obviously the cheaper, right? So that was 50% off. They saved $3. It would have been $18. They only owe 15, so they saved 3. That seems to work. What if this were 60? It should say the customer owes 66 and they saved 6, right? Because they are paying full price for this item, but got this one at half off. All right, it worked. So there's many different ways that you can do this. In this case, I'm storing the pre-sale price and then getting the final price. You could also, in here, you can say, maybe you have a variable called dec customer saved, and that's going to be equal to, since it's 50% off, it's going to be equal to 50% of what that item is. So you could do it that way. Again, hundreds of ways to do it. This is the way I determined to do it. Many right answers, so you don't have to necessarily do it this way. Now make the following modifications. calculated amount should be removed from the interface when a change is made to the contents of a text box interface. So when one of these is changed, remove these. So I'm going to take these two items, go to the property, or the events of those two items, and I think we're looking for text changed. And what do I want to do when text changes? I want to clear outputs. Hit enter. It gives me this procedure clear outputs. And now I can say LVL customer owes output dot text is equal to nothing. LVL customer saved output dot text is equal to nothing. Now I'm going to do 12 and 45. And if I take this 12, let's say, and change it to 17, as soon as I go to change it, it clears these out. Okay, so that worked. The contents of each text box should be selected when the text box receives the focus. So let's just choose one of these. When you enter that text box, what we want to do is txt item1 dot, I think it's dot text dot select all. Nope, I always get that wrong. Item1 text dot select all. And then for the other one, on enter, just double click there to give yourself a new sub procedure, txt item2 dot select all. So you know what, one thing we didn't do is our tab index. Let's make sure that that's right. Our tab order. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I see it's wrong. 0. Actually, you know what? I want to leave it wrong. No, I can't even show that to you. Okay, let's change it. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sure. Lorenzo's BoGoHo sale has to have something there. Okay, so remember we just set the select all on these items, on these text boxes. So if I have 17, I hit tab, 23, hit enter. If I hit shift tab to go back, it selects everything in there. If I hit tab, it selects everything in there. So I change it. Great, it's working nicely. And finally, each text box should accept only numbers, the period, and the backspace key. So we want to make sure that the user's not putting any other characters in there. So I'm going to, on both of these text boxes, I'm going to go to the event, and I want the key press event handler. And I'm just going to say, I don't know, validate key press. Just give it a generic name. Remember, E is the key press that's actually happening. It's the event that's happening for this particular key press. So on either one of these items, these text boxes, when you press a key, this is going to run, and E is what we're looking at. And what we want to do is set E.handle to be true. Set E.handle to true if it's an invalid input. And if we recall from the exercise, each text box should accept only numbers, the period, and the space key. So let's do this one by one. We can say if E.keychar is less than 0, or else E.keychar is greater than 9, then E.handled is equal to true. So I'm just handling the numbers right now. On item 1, I can hit 5, 8, 7. I hit dot, nothing happens. I hit all these other keys on the keyboard, nothing happens. Okay, I can only put in numbers, which is okay, but I can't put in a dot, and I can't change it. I mean, I can change it by tabbing in, because once you tab in, it selects all, but I can't hit the backspace. So how do we allow the backspace? I'm going to take this part that handles the numbers and put it in parentheses. And then after this, say, and also E.keychar is not equal to control cars dot back. All right. And I don't really like the way this is coding because it's saying like it's looking for something that's bad. Instead, I almost feel like it would be easier to look for what's good. But we can run this. This should allow us to do 32, and I can hit the backspace and put in different numbers. Okay, I still can't hit other numbers. It allows me to hit backspace. So we can do this one more time. And also e.keychar is not equal to dot. So if it's the character is less than 0 or greater than 9, and it's also not the backspace, and it's also not the period, return true. Not return, set e.handle to true. 45.65 and 32.89, and I can try to hit $sign in front of this. It doesn't let me. I can hit backspace. Okay. So that is limiting it. I would say the other way that you could write this is you could just say if e.keychar is greater than or equal to 0, and also e.keychar is less than or equal to 9, then exit sub. Else if e.keychar is equal to control cars.back, then exit sub. Else if e.keychar is equal to the dot, then exit sub. Else, not else if, else e.handle is true. And really, we don't even need these exit subs. Nothing really has to happen because this is setting an else. So if e.keychar is greater than or equal to 0 and it's less than or equal to 9, so it's between 0 and 9, don't do anything. Literally, don't do anything. And then if it's the back key, also don't do anything. And if it's the dot, don't do anything, right? Period, don't do anything. Otherwise, e.handled is true. So this should do the same thing. Yep, it's working just the same as it was before. And now we can take this and say, if this is true, or else, this is true, or else, this is true, and don't do anything. So these are valid characters. Okay, run this again. Should give me the exact same thing. Okay, working just the same. And to take this one step further, if any of these things are true, I had this in here before, exit the sub procedure. Okay, if any of those things are true, then just get out of the sub procedure. Don't run anything else. If we got here, the input is invalid. So then set e.handled to true. So I like to do it this way, showing you these are the valid characters that you can choose. Again, there's 100 different ways that you could write this. You could probably even do this with a select case. Okay, let me just run through this design one more time. That looks good. Look at my form, has the accept button, the exit button, center screen. It's got a title to it. I think everything looks good, so I can zip this up and submit it.